Hello, I'm so glad to welcome you to one of the launch events for Perspectives on Possibility, a collaborative book written by the members of the book writing group that I facilitate. And I'm your host, Susan Crossman. I work as an author coach and an editor to assist mission-based, heart-centered, soul-inspired coaches and consultants and innovators, people who are here to make the world a better place to write the most impactful book they're capable of writing. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into the heart and soul behind Perspectives on Possibility. This is the book that took shape over the course of almost a week in a beautiful cottage in northern Canadian forest, situated at the edge of a lake. Our group had been working for about a year when we had the bright idea that we would like to write a book together. And so we headed to this amazing secluded spot to spend time together to do just that. And I have to tell you that I have written 5 books myself, and I've helped many, many people write their books. I would never have thought it possible for a group of people to get 85% of a collaborative book finished over the course of 5 days. It was the most amazing experience that I have ever had as an author. And here are our authors. Unfortunately, we are missing 2 of our authors for this event. 2 of the people who were at the Clam Lake retreat were not able to be here with us, and so we are thanking them at a distance for having contributed their energy to what we have done here. Here's our group together at one of the magnificent meals that we had, and we have to thank Susan Eva, one of our participants, and her wonderful daughter Kirsten for having contributed the food to this amazing event. We were beautifully fed and nourished with the most remarkable selection of goodies that we could possibly imagine. We ate well, we danced in the kitchen, we had a lot of fun, and we wrote a book, almost an entire book. So it was a really amazing event. I think a big part of what made this event what it was the energetic frequency aspect of what we were doing. Great thanks to Susan Eva for bringing her bowl orchestra. Susan is a sound healer, and she brought her orchestra of sound healing bowls with her. And every morning and every evening began and ended with a sound bowl treatment from Susan. And so that was a phenomenal energetic set point for what we were there to do. We also made use of Geraldine Glass's sacred crystal sound healing oracle card deck. We're pulling cards every day to set the energy for each of us for the day. And of course, candles, which is one of my favorite ways of working with energy. I love me a candle. And so that was all part of what we were up to in the forest in Canada. My favorite little critter who joined us while we were there was a little chippy who came up onto our back deck and enjoyed the peanuts that we left there. He did run into the house at one point, giving us all a bit of a surprise. But the animal part of animal energy of what we were doing is also included in this beautiful book. And we have to thank Cynthia Aldrich for being the steward of finding the energetic match between the chapters, which you see here on screen, and the energy of the animal spirit that would really be most aligned with the each chapter. We all collaborated on all of this, of course. It was an intensely collaborative experience and a wonderful experience in community. Our goal in creating this book has been to make a difference in the lives of the people who are reading it. And we do that by sharing perspectives that people may not have considered before in their effort to live an impactful, fulfilling, and joy-filled life. We had an awful lot of fun doing this, and I hope you'll celebrate with us today the arrival on the planet of Perspectives on Possibility. If you'd like to purchase the book, I invite you to find it on Amazon. Again, it's called Perspectives on Possibility, and we will be sharing the link and making it available for you here where you're finding this video so that you can, in fact, go and enjoy the book too. So we're going to enjoy a bit of a panel discussion here today. We thought we would share some of our perspectives in this video with you about what we feel and what we think about some of the topics that are being enjoyed in the book as well. So we thank you for tuning in, and we're going to start with healing. And our first contributor, I hope you don't mind, Lydia, is that would you give us your perspective on healing to start us off today?
Yeah. Um, so throughout the years, I have experienced profound healing from deep trauma. And each time I thought, I'm finally healed. But then again, then I'll heal again, and then I'll heal again. You know, I've learned that healing, like it happens in layers and layers. But what I've learned is that healing doesn't mean erasing scars and pain. It means learning to live fully with it, with the pain, with the scars. For me, healing is integration. It's when the parts of me that have been broken find their place in my story without defining me. Healing is peace, acceptance, and the courage to move forward whole, even if I'm still tender in places.
Mm.
Oh, yes, that speaks so much truth, Lydia. Yes, and I find that healing is a process by which I move towards wholeness or my best self or my evolved self, where my higher or more expanded selves can become embodied as a result of the healing that I do, whether it's spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. And I've noticed how much as I heal each layer, that it changes my relationships with people and the people I bring into my life.
Mm.
That's beautiful. And boy, you know, just being in this energy field, just being in this group, I can tell all of our listeners or people that are watching this right now that healing comes from love. And when we're with people that we can feel that love, a healing takes place whether we're attempting to feel it or not. And you know, it's like from the very beginning, most of the religions in the world have had some form of, let's call it original sin that we have to heal from. Well, that's a certain story. But the healing that takes place is that what stands in our way from opening our hearts to receive the purest energy of love and share that with others as possible. What do we have to heal, or what is standing in our way to keep us from experiencing the most incredible love that we can possibly have with each other? And even in families, a lot of times in families, we have things that come about, but if we could see it, everything's a lesson. Nothing is there intentionally to put us astray. It is there for what still needs to be healed. What part of my soul decided to come onto this planet and be in this family and be in this time of history right now that needs to be healed. And that way, everything is a gift that we can see it of that. Or we can hide and go away from it and go, I don't have the courage to heal. We all have that courage to heal, and we can help each other do that. And I feel as though, even in the writing of this book, this group that I've been so grateful for, I've healed some things just by being authentic and honest in my offering, and then the acceptance and the love that's come back. I don't think I've ever felt that exactly the same before, but I've healed from it. And now I get to offer love to others that I was never able to offer before. I feel healed in a lot of ways.
Mm.
Beautifully said from all of you. I feel so blessed to be in this group. Amazing people. Healing for me is returning to our natural state of well-being, whether that's emotional, physical, spiritual. Our natural state is healed, feeling peace, feeling well-being on all levels. And healing is getting back to that space. We are born in that space, and returning there is the magic.
Well, thank you, everybody. What wonderful aspects of healing you're bringing to the table today. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd like to move on to our next question, which is around relationships, which is one of the topics in our book, which we have a chapter on relationships. And what I'd love to know from each of you is, how does your relationship with yourself affect your relationship with others? And let's start with John on that one, if we could, please.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you very much. You know, it took a while for me to get this. This is about just my personal hit on it, and that is, we are all in every second, every moment of our lives in relationship. And it may be in relationship with what we see on the news and how we feel about that, what we feel about our sisters and our brothers and our mommies and daddies and our family and how we feel about that, what we have as far as the work that I do in the world and what's my relationship with that. We are constantly in relationship every single moment of our lives. And yet, how we look at any one of those relationships is, I have to look at what's my relationship with myself. Because if I'm not loving myself, if I am discontent with me, I will find something outside of me to project that discontent upon, and then that becomes my relationship. And if that somehow makes me feel good in some bizarre way, I'll look for more ways to have that type of relationship with the outside world that will reflect how I'm feeling about myself. So it really does, that's come down to me as like, at every given moment, my relationship with myself is my relationship with the divine energy of love, or in the divine energy of the fear that keeps me from being in love. Because if I keep in that fear place, I will not be able to have relationships on the outside that reflect anything other than that fear. But if I have love in my heart and honor and respect and gratitude for the love that I feel inside, I will find those relationships outside of me as well. And that's the relationship I long to have in my life.
Mm, mm. Wow, John. Well, I've learned that my quality of life and the quality of my relationships all starts with how I treat myself. If I'm harsh and critical with myself, then I'll show up harsh and critical with others. And I've learned that when I extend grace to myself, I extend grace to others. And so now, like that truth is really like help me to really look within for those quality relationships. As before, I used to look outside of myself trying to perform, to create these relationships, and they remain superficial. But when I treat myself with love and respect, and then all of a sudden just comes out. I just end up treating everyone, everything, not even just people, my pets, my home, everything, and my relationship with everything is better now that I have a better relationship with myself.
Boy, isn't that the truth? I just have found that too, that the more that I grow and expand and heal, the more love I have for myself. And the more love I have for myself, then I'm able to like set boundaries, right? I didn't know how to set boundaries early in my life. And but then the more I do that, then I'm expanding into what I want to be, how I want to be treated, how I want to be loved, by giving that to myself and demonstrating to myself, and in the case of boundaries, to others, that I become, and then I start receiving that, and I become more expanded. And it goes so much with healing, to me, relationship with myself and therefore with others, because from myself I am going to be treating others from how I treat myself. So it definitely, the healing part of it helps to change how all of that happens so that I receive different relationships. I have those opportunities, or I can end them if if the boundaries are not, and it's just kind of like disappearing from, becoming less scarce, or more scarce, to that person who does not respect my boundaries. So it's that's very empowering also, loving themselves.
Beautifully said, Cynthia. Yes, well, I think relationships, when you look at relationships, I think a healthy, authentic, loving relationship with the self is the foundation for any relationship, whether it's with your spouse, your children, your parents, your friends, anybody, your working colleagues. If we can't find the truth of who we are and be comfortable with who we are and have that good relationship for ourselves, how can we have a relationship with others that is healthy and well balanced? Because we do reflect that with others, and it's been said, whatever comes from us, if we're not being nice to ourselves, we're going to find ourselves not being nice to others. There's an energetic field that is there, and it's crucial to have that grounded and pure. I think it's a critical foundation. And so if a relationship is ending, it could be that it's out of alignment with your current state, and maybe it's time to let it go. But it's also an invitation to go inside and say, okay, am I showing up as the truth of who I am?
Which again comes back to how much all of these different topics mingle into each other, right? Like everything is a part of everything else. And I just love what everyone has said about relationships, I think, and how important they are to us. Our external relationships are important, and without that foundation, as you mentioned, Susan, with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, then we can't really go very far with all of that, and very, very happily. So our final question for today is around living as creators. And I would love to know what living as a creator means to you. And maybe we'll start with Susan for that one. Could we, Susan?
Thank you. That's a great question. And I think it's very simple. I think most of us, whether we've known it or not, have lived in the energy of victimhood most of our lives, even if it's very subtle. But when I start to own the fact, and that goes back to what you just said, my relationship with myself is foundational here. And if I can live as a creator, what do I want in my life and what do I want to create? The reality is, when I own my responsibility for my relationship with myself or my life, then I can create the life that I want. And if I'm not owning it and I'm blaming it on others or whatever your story is, I'm not creating my life, and then I can complain all I want, but it's not changing things. Change happens when I own my responsibility for all of it. And it comes from the foundation of love. So
that's for sure. Knowing that I co-create everything that happens in my life, including the hardest things, knowing that even the hardest things are everything's part of my soul contract, what I decided to heal, to work on coming here this time. And because of that, I'm here to be the creator of how I choose to experience what shows up in my life. That's where that's my co-creative input. It's like I can choose to act as a victim to an experience in my life, or I can choose to act as a co-creator and create something else, something that is going to grow me, heal me, and expand me.
Thank you, Cynthia. For me, living as a creator means refusing to be only a consumer of life's circumstances. It's choosing to shape my reality with intention through my words, my actions, my vision, my writing. To me, being a creator means I don't wait for life to happen to me. I participate in bringing forth what I want to see in the world, whether that's love, justice, or possibility.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You know, we cannot help but be creators because we are the creation. Where we came from, we don't really know that, and yet we were created, weren't we? The first the first amphibian that came out of the ocean and walked on the land created legs, and then created wings, and then we created walking on two legs, and then we created on and on and on. And it wasn't about what do I have to create, it's about what is creation and how is creation coming through me. And it's an honor to be in a place that we can open and offer, all the great creators in the world, the artists, the musicians, the philosophers, the people that helped others survive when survival was tough, were creating not out of egoic impulse. That's replication. But what the creator inside of us is honoring that authentic part of creation itself that is continually given to us every single moment. And if we can tie in, if we can let go of what's expected of me or who do I think I am, and receive that energy of creation itself that is present every single moment of our lives, and we will be told, what can you do for the love of the universe, for the love of your brothers and sisters, for the love of your life yourself? What can you create that brings that empathy and gratitude forth? We're going to lead some incredible lives, and we can support each other in doing that.
Leading some incredible lives. What a wonderful note to end today on. That I just so appreciate all of our authors for making the time available today to be with me and with our audience, and for bringing so much wisdom and insight into some really, really interesting topics, which you will find in the book, Perspectives on Possibility. So if any of what you've heard here today has been intriguing and you think that you want to pull on that thread and see where it goes, then I invite you to purchase the book, Perspectives on Possibility. You will be able to find it probably on Amazon, as well as other locations. We'll be taking a look at where that will be showing up, but certainly there will be a link to purchase the book wherever you're viewing this video. So I thank everybody for your time today, for our authors, for bringing your brilliance here, and also for our viewers for being part of our adventure and our exploration of what it is to be human and what we are here to be, do, and have in our lives. So thank you so much.